This is the only option that would be not only acceptable in the world of Harry Potter, but also, if they do this correctly, it could be brilliant. What's up, Misfits? So today we got some potentially very exciting news that was almost immediately denied.
No! God, please, no!
So, yeah. Basically, some sources out there were saying that there is a Harry Potter series in very early production for HBO Max. But then HBO Max and Warner Brothers were like, no, that's not happening. So, I don't know what to believe, but I really want to believe that there's going to be a series coming up. I'm currently rewatching all of the Harry Potter movies with my brother, and we just watched Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire last night, and I was just thinking, how cool would it have been for them to make the last 4 books into series instead of movies, because then they could have included so much more. Of course, it wouldn't have been as special because I wouldn't have been able to see it in the cinema, but it would have been really nice to have all those details that they didn't include in the movie. Like Hermione and Spew! We never got to see any of that. Anyway, so I have no idea if there is in fact going to be a Harry Potter series on HBO Max or anywhere for that matter, but I thought this would be a great opportunity to talk about what a Harry Potter series might look like. Essentially, we have 2 options. We can go into the future from where we left off in the books and movies, or we can go into the past before the first book and movie. The future is a lot less likely though, because the only options you would have for the future are to make the stories about the children of the trio and everyone else in the series. So you got Draco's kid, Ron and Hermione's kids, and then Ginny and Harry's kids and their life at Hogwarts. But I mean, like, there's only so much you can do with that, because we already saw all of them just go through their entire time at Hogwarts, so we would be seeing that again minus Voldemort. So I don't feel like that would be very interesting, because it's too familiar. We already know what's happening there. I did see a post on Facebook today though that I thought was pretty cool. I don't think it would be enough for like a full-on series, but I like the idea of it. That Dudley has a daughter who turns out to be a witch, and so Dudley comes to Harry and they like have this bond now because he's asking all these questions about like what to do with his daughter, and I thought that was kind of cute. I don't know the likelihood of that, but it was an interesting concept. Another option for the future would be following the original characters. So we would see what their lives are like as adults. Now obviously, the only way I would accept that is if they use the original actors, which will not happen because let's be honest, they need to move on. They've done Harry Potter, they did brilliant jobs, but we really don't need them to come back. I feel like their stories ended in a great place, and I'm terrified that they would absolutely ruin it if they tried to do any more with our beloved characters. So like that has to end. So honestly, taking the series into the future is probably not gonna happen. That means if they did do a Harry Potter series, it will most likely take place in the past. Now they could go all the way back to the beginning of Hogwarts when it was first founded by Ravenclaw, Hufflepuff, Gryffindor, and Slytherin. That's a viable option, but it's not the obvious option. I think you guys all know where I'm going with this. If they are going to make a Harry Potter series, I'm pretty sure all of us out there want it to be about the Marauders. Oh my god, how do you pronounce it? Marauders.
In British English, this is normally pronounced as marauders.
Marauders.
Stress on the second syllable.
Marauders.
In English, however, this is usually said as marauders.
Marauders. I completely lost my train of thought because I was struggling to pronounce that. The American way, I guess, is marauders, and then the British is marauders. You know what I'm talking about. If they're gonna do a Harry Potter series on HBO Max, it should absolutely be about the 4 Marauders. We have Remus Lupin, Sirius Black, James Potter, and Peter Pettigrew. And then of course you gotta throw in Lily Potter and Severus Snape. I mean, come on, how amazing would that series be? We go all the way back to when they were at Hogwarts together and when James met Lily. I mean, we know a little bit already, we've seen stuff in the movies, but this is like a whole series dedicated to them. And then they can recast younger versions of all the adults, which would be so much fun. I feel like this is the only option that would be not only acceptable in the world of Harry Potter, but also really fantastic. If they do this correctly, it could be brilliant. I've already thought about who they should cast for younger versions of these characters. For James Potter, Aaron Taylor Johnson. Or I like the idea of Tom Holland, but he might be a little bit too young compared to the rest of these actors. For Lily Potter, Karen Gillan. Should be perfect. For Sirius Black, Robert Sheehan. Or if we're gonna go American, Timothée Chalamet. For Remus Lupin, we could go with Jamie Bell, or I think Andrew Garfield would be even better. He would be a really great Lupin. For Peter Pettigrew, I really enunciated that and it sounded weird because I feel like Americans should be saying it Peter Pettigrew. See, I mix my English with either the American way or the British way, because in Jordan they use the British way, and sometimes I pronounce things like that because I also grew up in Jordan. So I just learned that apparently Americans don't spell traveling with 2 L's. I've been spelling it with 2 L's lately, and then I just realized that I'm not supposed to be doing that here, and I don't know what happened. I'm all confused. Anyway, that's not the point. Peter Pettigrew, or Peter Pettigrew, should be Thomas Brody Sangster. I just watched the first Maze Runner, and I feel like he'd be a pretty solid Peter. Peter. Moving on. And finally, for Severus Snape, there is only one option. If they ever cast a young Snape in anything, it has to be this one person. If it is not this one person, I am not watching it. I mean, obviously I'm gonna watch it, but I'm gonna be mad that they did not cast this person. The person that is born to play young Snape is Adam Driver. Adam Driver is the perfect young Snape. There is no other option. He is the one that they need to cast. No question. Speaking of young Snape, I saw this thing on the internet the other day where somebody was like, imagine if they recast young Snape as Adam Driver and they created a series based on Snape's years as a Death Eater, but then slowly transforming into one of Dumbledore's inside men and working with Dumbledore. How cool would that be? That is my second option for a series that would work in the world of Harry Potter. So if they're not gonna do the Marauders, then they have to do Snape's journey from Death Eater to Dumbledore's inside man. So those are my top 2 choices for what I wanna see if they create a brand new Harry Potter series. What do you guys think? If they do make a new Harry Potter series, what characters do you want to be in it? And what do you think it should be about? Let me know in the comment section below. As always, if you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe so you'll be notified as soon as I post any more Harry Potter, Doctor Who, or other fun pop culture, TV, movie related content. I will see you guys in my next video. Remember to keep it weird and keep it real.